It's Tuesday. The kids are back at school. I'm the Prez. You're watching Morning Joe and the Pro. Ralph Michaels and Drew Martin with us. An exciting show today. We're going to take apart one college football game, two baseball games, and two NFL games that go this weekend. We're going to do a name change for the show, people. So if you've got any ideas, please put it up. I want my name in it, ideally. So Betting Talk with the Prez or the Prez Daily Address, even though the NFL one is kind of like that. We need a name and we need your help. I'm going to bring in Drew Martin and Ralph Michaels. And guys, no small talk. We're going to get straight into it right off the top. College football, Ralph. How are you, by the way?
Doing great, thank you. And if you notice the backdrop, as you know, Teddy and I do a daily TV show, The Sports Grid, from 12 to 1 Pacific. The backdrop will be up until next week till I get situated.
He's Ralph Michaels. Drew Martin, how are you?
I'm doing good, Prez. Excited to talk college football. It's here, and week one of the NFL starting, so it's a good week to be a sports fan.
Yeah, man, this is my favorite time of year. Guys, let's get straight to it. Tennessee, wow. What a loss they had this weekend, and they had some pretty high expectations coming into the season. They're at home. They need to cleanse their palate, if you will. They're minus 3.5 against BYU with an over and under of 50.5. And I'll tell you, I don't know, Ralph, how good Tennessee or BYU are yet this year, as we just started, and clearly we saw Tennessee with a tough loss this past weekend. But if I were BYU, this would not be the week I would want to play Tennessee. I think this is going to be a team that's very mad and really wants to right the ship right away. What do you think about this?
Well, Prez, you know I love data. You know I love looking up records. That pub had Tennessee, after losing as a big favorite, is going to bounce back because they're angry. Well, I can tell you, since the year 2000, there have been 21 teams that lost as a home favorite of 7 or more, and then the next week they're a home dog or a home favorite up to 11. Those teams have gone 5-16, wow. 24% against the spread. So that exact thought is the public perception. I like BYU in this game. They were competitive against Utah. 3 turnovers cost them 21 points. And listen, this Tennessee team, if you follow me on Twitter, in the third quarter, I tweeted out, Georgia State's the better team on the field. Georgia State rushed for 213 yards. They were 8 or 9 of 13 on third down. They were 24 first downs to Tennessee's 21. Yes, I thought Tennessee would be much better than they played, but there was a sense of dejection on these volunteer players, and I don't think you get rid of that in 1 week.
It's a great point, Ralph, and such an incredible trend. You should tweet it out and tell everyone that's what you get when you listen to Morning Joe and the Pro. Drew, I like the under in this game. Look, I watched the entire BYU-Utah game. I bet Utah in that game, and although Ralph feels like the 3 turnovers were the big difference in that game, I actually felt like Utah handled that game almost from start to finish. I mean, especially in the second half. I thought BYU really struggled to move the ball, and although Tennessee doesn't have the defense that Utah does, I'm going to get 50 points in a game where I think one team, specifically BYU, is going to struggle all year to put up big numbers. I'm going to lean on the under here. What do you like?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think points are going to be hard to come by. When you start talking about quarterback performance, BYU, Zach Wilson, just a freshman, we saw him struggle. Ralph brought up the turnovers, and I don't necessarily think that that's going to change when you're going into Neyland Stadium, going to be, near 100,000 people at this game as well. And Tennessee actually faced a better quarterback last week in Georgia State's quarterback, Dan Ellington, a dual threat guy, a guy that's really underrated in the betting markets, in the mainstream media. Georgia State Panthers, yes, they did go, 2-10 last year. They're a lot better team than that. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually go bowling this year. They got some athletes down there, even though it was probably their biggest win in school history. They've only been playing football for about a decade. I just kind of think it did surprise Tennessee. I think there is something to the sentiment that it's not a good week to play Tennessee, but that's a great find on that stat by Ralph, something that I'll definitely take into mind on betting the side. But I'm more interested in this total just because the quarterback play for BYU, I still think it struggles here on the road, so I do look towards the under of this.
I agree with you 100%. Ralph, what did you want to add?
You know, Prez, one note is that you do have to remember when you watch that BYU game that Utah's D-line is probably the best D-line in the country. If not, they're one of the top three. So facing that, Tennessee won't be the same challenge. I've got one more which shocked the heck out of me as well. In week one, there were 11 teams like Tennessee that returned 17 or more starters. Those are the teams people love to bet on. Yeah. They went 4-6 straight up. 4-5-1 against the spread. But even more surprising, there were 13 teams that returned 9 or fewer starters this past weekend. Those teams that returned 9 or fewer starters went 9-4 straight up, 9-4 against the spread.
He's Ralph Michaels from WagerTalk.com. Drew Martin from SportsMemo.com. This show should be called One Good-Looking Man and Two Old Geezers. Guys, let's take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to get back. A little bit of small talk, a recap of the weekend, and we got 2 baseball games and 2 NFL games to go through. Hey, everybody, I'm the Prez. Thanks so much for joining us. I appreciated everybody watching and commenting on First Pitch. We've changed the show format as we've moved into the football season. It's now called Morning Joe and the Pro. We are going to do a name change with that because we've got an incredible show, hopefully starting next Monday, which will be using a similar name to Morning Joe and the Pro. Real quick, guys, I got a 5% play in NFL this Sunday. Normally I don't come out of the gate firing such a large percentage play. I was laughing to myself. I mean, we don't allow games of the year over at WagerTalk. And surely you can't have a game of the year in week one. I was thinking to myself, man, like, this would be it. I love this play. I don't think we're going to see a line like this in a game that these two teams are in all year. I think there is something wrong with this line. I don't think it's going to be close. So head over to WagerTalk.com and get down on my 5% play in the NFL. It is Sunday. The regular price is $40. It's yours for only $20. Use the promo code PREZ20. That's P-R-E-Z or Z 20. Boys, we need a name change. I've got a show coming out with Joe Ranieri and Rob Vino. It tapes every Monday. We're going to start it next week. It's actually going to be an interactive show with all of our listeners. It's a bold idea, so stay tuned. And we are using the Joe vs. Pro concept in that show. So I need a name change, and I need it now, and I can't come up with one damn thing. I would like to keep my name in it, but I can't use the daily presidential address because Kelly and I do the NFL presidential address. So I'm utterly baffled. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. Email me, tweet me. Put it up on our YouTube channel. I need something, boys.
Prez, I got to jump in with 2 things. First, how much do you like your NFL game if you're the $2 Tuesday capper and your first promo is talking about an NFL 5% play? That's crazy how much you like it. Secondly, put your money where your mouth is. How about $200 of wager bucks, whoever comes up with the idea for the show?
$200 of wager bucks for anybody who comes up with an idea for the name of my show. And Ralph, you're right. It is $2 Tuesday over at Wager Talk and Sports Memo. Drew, what's going on at Sports Memo?
We got a bunch going on, with college football season underway. Mid-major Matt, a guy that's absolutely killing FBS versus FCS. He really knows these small conference teams. Yeah, he does, man. It's he works for ESPN there in the Virginia area, and there's just a lot of small conference teams there that he follows. So he's the $2 handicapper today at sportsmemo.com. You can get his top college football play for just $2. Also, a bunch of guys off to great starts in college football. You talked about Rob Vino, Joe Ranieri doing well. I'm off to a positive start as well. Teddy as well. Teddy covers. So he's the crossover. When you buy Mid-Major Matt's $2 play, you'll get a promo for Teddy covers. So check it out at sportsmemo.com.
Yeah, so I'm the $2 Tuesday at WagerTalk.com, and it's the first time I've been the $2 Tuesday in months. I went 4-2 to start the college football season. I also won my 5-unit play. Ralph, you want to talk about an easy winner? This was over literally in the first quarter. I mean, Auburn, are you kidding? I went to bed. This game was so in the bag.
That's the way it seems from Canada, right?
Anyway, I'm the $2 Tuesday over at WagerTalk.com. I've got an ACC Game of the Week up. You can get it for only $2. And of course, Ralph Michaels is the crossover play. So if you buy my package at WagerTalk.com for $2, you will get a promo code to buy Ralph stuff. I went to see the Fast and the Furious movie with my kid. I'm pretty sure neither of you saw it.
No, the beginning of football season, unfortunately, I'm not up to date on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so shitty plot, crappy acting, loved the movie. I love those movies where it's just a constant action ride from start to finish, where the fight scenes are so good, the chase scenes are filmed so well. I forgive the stupidity of the plot because it's just a fun ride. Reminds me a lot of my shows. A action-packed, fun ride. Small talk done for the day? Okay, boys. Oakland against the LA Angels. Or is it the LA Angels against Oakland? The home team, the Oakland Athletics, minus anywhere from 175. There's a 186 on the board. The over and under is 9.5. And you know, Oakland lost 2 in a row. They lost 5-4 and 4-3 to the Yankees, both in New York, and really both tough losses because they were right there in both of those games. They find themselves 1 game back on Cleveland, 1.5 back on Tampa Bay, and they really need to win this game. And I know they're a big favorite here, but I think this is their game. Ralph, I don't mind putting a little money on such huge chalk.
Prez, it's really not huge chalk. Favorites have been winning. We're getting so many new sports bettors into the market. I want them to realize that there can be value on a 170 favorite or a 200 favorite. I have Fires as a 250 favorite. 70. There is still 80 cents of value. Just lost 2 games to the Yankees, but it's no embarrassment. They were a dog in both games, including a 180 dog against Herman. You're talking about a team that's been one of the strongest home favorites, going 31-17. You're talking about Fires, who has absolutely been on fire, winning 7 straight starts, a 1.06 whip at home against Beria for the Angels, who has a 5.03 road ERA and a 1.31 road whip. Over the last 10 days, the A's are hitting 277. The Angels are hitting 211. Again, there is value on a 170 favorite if you think they should be a significantly higher favorite than they do, and I believe they should be a higher favorite
He's
tonight.
Ralph Michaels, and if you like Ralph, and we all do, stay tuned for the next commercial break. We've got an incredible offer for Ralph Michaels' sports picks. Drew, what do you like in this game? Over and under 9.5, the favorite, the dog, a run line bet? Where are you going?
Well, yeah, like Ralph said, with Friars on the Hill, you know, the South Floridian, the career he's been able to put together is pretty astonishing to me. This is a guy I've actually played, went to Nova Southeastern down in Fort Lauderdale.
That's twice this summer that you have name-dropped somebody you played baseball with in high school.
Yeah, not with. Again.
Minus... Plus 400, you're lying.
You don't lie about that, Prez.
Are you kidding?
You can look it up.
One thing the Canadians know.
Nova Southeastern, 2003.
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
Sun Sentinel.
Let me guess, Drew. The Ralph and Drew, just to hijack quick, the Canadians have a running joke about American high school athletes. They all would have made the pros if only they didn't blow out their knee.
No, I didn't have that kind of talent. I wasn't going to make the pros in really any sport. So I think your kind of joke on Americans, it pretty much ends there, Prez, you know.
Okay, Drew, what do you like in this game? Mr.
Want,
I played with half of baseball.
That would be 2 MLB players. Maybe one more. A guy named Ray Garcia made it to AA, and he was our pitcher, the reason we're good. But
I slept with all their wives. There.
Wow, that's
top that,
impressive.
Drew.
Anyway, let's go after this guy's career. I mean, 3.4 ERA this year. And I'll tell you, you know, the pitching dynamics of pitching in a pitcher's ballpark, he's really worked it towards his advantage. Plus the fact, looking up stats on him this year, since April 26th, only one runs, talking about Friars here. So on a great run here of just consistency. And going to get up against the Angels lineup, which just an 85 weighted runs created plus number this year in the Athletics, number 2 in baseball in the last 30 days in terms of their weighted runs created number, 131, only behind the Astros. I agree with Ralph, minus 165 to minus 170. I don't think it's too pricey at all. I like the Athletics here. And to add on to that, I 100% agree. It's kind of a mainstream betting philosophy here. When prices get over minus 140, minus 150, they're unbettable. I don't think that's true at all. There can be value with pricier favorites, and I think we find it here tonight with the A's.
He's Drew Martin from sportsmemo.com. Guys, Pittsburgh, Miami. Listeners out there, I asked Drew to pick the games he wanted to talk about, 2 baseball games. He picked this lame-ass game that nobody cares about. But clearly,
wait, he played with someone on this game.
But clearly we don't care whether it's a big time matchup. We only care if there's money to be made. Pittsburgh, they've won 4 in a row, and man, finally their bats have come alive. 5-11, 9-11 in their last 4 games. They're playing Miami, who couldn't hit a ball if the ball was a beach ball. The home team minus 170 and over and under of 9. Ralph, I see it the same way as I saw the last game. Miami is a horrible team, really struggling. Lost 3 in a row, 6 of 7. You know, I can't play them. And I know that Alcantara has had a good season. And Mitch Keller, who the hell is he in that god-awful ERA? It's Pittsburgh or pass for me, and I'm going to pass.
Well, you talked about Keller with a god-awful ERA. That's that Pittsburgh team that's, you know, a 165 favorite. Now, listen, the Pirates are as hot as anyone. You know, the wager the last 10 days, they led Major League Baseball in profit, going 8-2. In that 10-game stretch, they're averaging 7.6 runs per game. But again, I can't not bet that team with Mitch Keller with an 8.62 ERA and a 1.98 whip on the season. What I will look for is the over. Pittsburgh's averaged 15 hits and walks in that 10-game span. Alcantara has a 1.37 whip on the season. And another interesting note, again, that those that download the First Pitch newsletter at WagerTalk, if you look back at the Marlins, first 5 innings, they're now 0-7-2. Alcantara, the first 5 innings, he's 1-7-2 in his last 10 starts.
Drew Martin, any thoughts on the game you hand chose?
I mean, I am hand choosing baseball in September now, so it's not like I'm necessarily going at. All right, Prez, we got Alcantara versus Keller. Keller's gotten blasted. I'm not really looking to lay a big number with him. Last 3 starts, 15 earned runs in just 14 innings pitched. Last time out, 4 innings, 8 earned versus Philadelphia. Alcantara, at least you can find some positives on the road. His last 3 at Colorado, at Atlanta, and at the New York Mets, only 4 earned runs, and that's over 19 innings with 21 Ks. So if you're looking for positives, you kind of got to reach here, but you can find it with them. Kind of leans me towards Miami at a big plus price here, and also towards the over. Just both pitchers don't really trust. It's just a matter of if you can trust the offenses. So big plus price, I lean towards the Marlins.
He's Drew Martin from Sports Memo, Ralph Michaels from WagerTalk. We're going to race to a quick commercial break, then we're going to get back. We're going to talk a little bit about your new show with Teddy, and we're going to take apart 2 NFL games. Hey guys, I told you in the middle of the show we had a big promotion for Ralph Michaels, and I'll tell you flat out, there's very few handicappers on this planet with more knowledge than Ralph. He is probably the most quoted handicapper in the world from VSiN. Sorry. From VSiN. Sorry. To WagerTalk, to everything in between. Nobody is quoted more than Ralph. This guy knows more about sports betting than most of us combined. You could get the next week of his plays for only $49. That's baseball and both footballs for $49. Use the promo code RM49. That's RM49, and you can use that over at WagerTalk.com. Were you able to see me? Yeah, you were able to see me while I do the commercial break, right?
Yes, unfortunately we do.
I almost fell asleep. It's those 4 letters. They could put anyone to bed. Nothing?
Well, you talked about numbers. Well, let's just get rolling in the next segment and remind people that if they follow me on Twitter, Week 1, division dogs are 17-4 against the spread. How much more simpler of a trend can you get? Week 1, division dogs, 17-4.
Yeah, that's unbelievable, dude. You better have that on my notes for my NFL football show, because that's unbelievable. Guys, here's what's coming up this week. Tonight, myself, Dave Koken, and Teddy, we do our college football betting show. Last week, 7,000, 8,000 viewers. For the first show ever. I cannot thank you people enough. That show should be up 9-10 Eastern tonight. Morning Joe and the Pro every day this week. Every day all the time, Monday to Friday, even though it will have a name change. And Ralph Michaels, you're doing a show now with Teddy. This show is being pumped into 16 million households, which is half the population of Canada and about 0.1% of the population of America. Tell us about the show quick.
Well, that 16 million is going to explode in the next few weeks. It's going to be on all the streaming stations. So stay tuned. As you see behind me, it's Sports Grid. Teddy and I are on live from 12 to 1 p.m. It's a basic show where we break down bad beats from the day before. We look at line movers. We have multiple segments of looking ahead, breaking down football games. We have best bets. We give handicapping advice. A fun show. Teddy and I are only into it 1 week, and we can't be more excited as we move forward.
Drew Martin, you've got a podcast going all the time. Fill us in.
Yeah, daily podcast at sportsmemo.com. It's on the YouTube channel as well. We're breaking down NFL opening lines. We're breaking down every single game on the college football board. I believe it's the only podcast. If not, in my opinion, it's the best podcast that goes through all the games from a betting perspective. We do it both in college football and the NFL. And every week as well, we talk about the soccer podcast all week long at sportsmemo.com.
He's Drew Martin. Ralph Michaels with us. You're watching Morning Joe and the Pro. Guys, 2 NFL games. I'm going to stay completely out of the first one. Green Bay on the road against Chicago. I have a bet live and play at this. If you want it, head over to wagertalk.com. Green Bay finds themselves as a dog +3. There are a few 3.5s on the board now, but we'll use the number of 3. The over and under is 46.5. This is pretty much exactly the type of line we would expect. Chicago is always, Chicago, Green Bay, Chicago, mini Green Bay. It's going to be 3 every time. Ralph Michaels, why don't you tell us where you're going in this one?
Well, I believe in Rodgers. You know, if I can get a dog, I believe I'm going to back him. In the situation with the new head coach, I think Rodgers has free reign to do what he wants. I think the Bears come in a little overvalued. Yes, they are the better roster than Green Bay. And yes, this is a division game. But this is a game where Green Bay has won 17 of the last 21 games. This is where a young quarterback, Trubisky, has to prove to me he can beat Rodgers. And I'm going to grab the points early with Rodgers in this game.
Drew Martin, where are you going, my friend?
I mean, looking at Chicago, you know, Trubisky, he had 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions his rookie year, then 28-14 last year. So we saw the improvement. Yeah. And I think that continues this year, another offseason with them. And Chicago's defense, number 3 in the NFL last year. I know Green Bay did improve their defense in the offseason, but I kind of like continuity on the defensive side. So I would give that nod to Chicago. And Green Bay just couldn't stop the rush. So until I see it in the regular season, I don't know. I'm not trusting it with my money. So if you made me bet it, I would be on Chicago at home at this low price here. But I haven't touched it as of yet.
Guys, Atlanta against Minnesota. I love this game. I'm really high on both these teams. If you listen to the NFL presidential address preview show, Telly and I taped it last week. It's up at our YouTube channel now. And it literally is a must-listen to show. I really talked about which teams are going to win the divisions, and also how I'm planning on betting each team moving forward. I said that Minnesota at plus 210 would win the division they're in, and I like Atlanta, believe it or not, at plus 3. I think it was 350 to win their division, and I also liked Atlanta at plus 1600 to win, to go to the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's a bold prediction, but hey, it is plus 1600. I look at this and I think to myself, these are two really top elite teams, both with good offenses. And I'm going to get Atlanta at plus 4. I think this game is going to be a field goal game. So I am going to take the dog in this game, Atlanta plus 4. And I like the over in this game too. I think we're going to see Atlanta as a scoring machine this year. No surprise with their weapons. But I also think we're going to see Minnesota put up a lot of points. Kirk Cousins did not have a great year last year, but I think we will see a much better year from him. And don't forget, he's got Delvin Cook coming out of the backfield. Can you hear that? There's like an airplane flying over my house. I live in a 65-foot tall house. Delvin Cook coming out of the backfield. Thielen, Diggs as wide receivers, a great tight end. I think we're going to see a lot of offense by Minnesota. I like over the total of 48, and I like Atlanta. Ralph, I'll go to you first.
Well, no one's been a better home favorite than the Minnesota Vikings, going 19-5-1 against the spread. But I am with you. I like this Atlanta team. The question I have, which keeps me off until I know further, the situation with Julio Jones. Yep. Is he going to sit out? Is he going to get a contract? Is he going to play? So I think the Atlanta Falcons absolutely need Julio Jones to cover this game. If he doesn't play and the line doesn't adjust, I certainly lean with the Vikings. If Julio Jones is in the mix, it's the game is lined right. And I am actually high on both teams as well. I hate to agree with you, Prez, but sometimes in life, I guess you have to.
Drew Martin.
If Julio Jones plays, I like Atlanta, and I agree with kind of your lean there towards just Atlanta being a bet-on team, especially in the beginning. I think that their ones, talking about their starters, Atlanta, very, very talented unit. And in this game, if Julio Jones plays, I do like the Falcons plus the points. I love the concept in the NFL of getting the better quarterback with the points. Yeah. So going against Kirk Cousins, I'd take Matt Ryan every time. So I like the Falcons, and will be involved if Julio is in uniform.
Yeah, but even if he isn't, I mean, Ridley's really good. Hooper's okay. Freeman is amazing. I mean, obviously, Julio Jones is the key to that offense, but I expect him to play. Guys, what an outstanding show. Love the format. Every day we'll be talking one college football game. 2 baseball games and 2 NFL games, and we'll do that right up until the NBA season begins. We'll have a new guest. We'll have new guests on all the time. So check back tomorrow for who's going to be on that show. We'll call it a surprise. Other than that, I'm going to take us home and get out of here. Guys, thanks for watching Morning Joe and the Pro. Please make sure to email me or email me, Prez at WagerTalk.com, or put up on our YouTube channel a new name for the show. If it's picked by us, your name, you'll get $200 in wager bucks. Also, make sure to watch the College Football Betting Show. It'll be up around 10 p.m. Eastern tonight with myself, Dave Koken, and Teddy. We're looking at 15 games. As well, the NFL presidential address. Kelly and I will be taping that every Wednesday morning. So that should be up tomorrow. Promo codes for today: Prez20, Prez20 or Z20, $20 for my 5% play in the NFL. It goes on Sunday. And Ralph Michaels, $49 for a week of all his plays at RM49. Mid-Major Matt is the $2 Tuesday feature handicapper over at Sports Memo. I'm the $2 Tuesday feature handicapper over at WagerTalk. Thanks so much, guys. We ended first pitch with a Prez out double mic drop. We end Morning Joe with the bicep flex. And I don't know why the hell I just did that, and I swear to God I will never do it again. Later, guys.